Jewish press, that it's the same as the regular press, but just Jewified. And I think that's actually a pretty accurate definition of what we face today, and if I could tell you about the work that we do at the Canadian Jewish News on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, for those of you who subscribe and see it, maybe I'll be able to explain that a little bit better. I think I should start, though, with some of the challenges that are facing the media in general today. And the first one that I'll mention, it's two words that I kind of dread saying, but it's fake news. It's the press is under assault in a way that it hasn't been certainly in America in many decades. And unfortunately, I think we're seeing some of that beginning to trickle into Canada as well. When leaders of the world call journalists mean names and use really childish arguments against them, I think that's a major issue. And you can see how easy it's become for people to just throw out that phrase, fake news, to essentially dismiss whatever it is that they don't want to hear. There's a flip side also to the fake news issue, which is that there is actually a lot of fake news out there. And part of that is the proliferation of social media and the internet, which basically allows anybody to say anything that they want, no matter how crazy, how hateful, and publicized on a really, really large level. We were just talking recently in the office at the CJN about social media campaigns. And one of the reasons that if you're on Facebook or if you have friends and family who are, one of the reasons that you see so much, so many things on Facebook that sort of blur the line between actual news and propaganda is because there are virtually no barriers to entry into that. Anybody with, literally $3 can buy an ad on Facebook and start promoting their ideas to the world. And if they seem, if they're smart enough to trick you into putting it into a way that makes it actually seem real, then they're able to affect a lot of people. The problem is that news organizations aren't immune from this themselves. In the run-up to the sort of the online world of newspapers now, where speed has been deemed so significant. Maybe I'll speak a little later why I don't think it is, but when being the first news outlet of millions to report whatever the latest news is, that speed has been made more important than actually getting the story right. And the ability to say I was the first one with the story seems to be more powerful than saying I was the person who actually had the story correct, did the research, and put it in a way that people could understand, and that would be helpful to their lives. One of the reasons that journalists have a hard time with this now is because the industry has been rocked by financial woes for over a decade as the internet has proliferated. There are fewer journalists out there. I'm not sure what the stat was when you were the editor, but I think it's larger than the staff that I have now. And we're still expected to do the same amount of work, if not more. And you throw into that sort of habit of journalistic work, publishing podcasts and writing social media posts and having 2 news stories on Facebook every day. And journalists are doing more with less now than they've done in a very, very long time. Perhaps as far back as the Yiddish newspapers that more times talk. And it's a major issue. I think most news outlets will acknowledge that fake news and the speed at which media operates now are major problems that can ultimately damage the industry beyond repair. But frankly, they don't have a better way right now. And so there are a lot of people out there now who are throwing all kinds of ideas and seeing what sticks, hoping that something will replace, the thousands of lost subscriptions in decades from people who either migrated to reading the internet or took out a digital subscription of the Canadian Jewish News, which you can do. But there's less money in the industry, fewer people in the industry, and much higher demand for timely and accurate work than ever before. I think we believe, and people who started the CJN and who have run it for the last decades believe strongly that the community needs a newspaper. Even if we don't agree with each other about everything. I think that's a qualifier that obviously doesn't apply. We disagree. We like to disagree with each other. We have strong ideas. And, I'm hoping when you read the paper every week that you'll find some things that you agree with. You'll find some things that you didn't know about before and are interested in learning more about. And you'll find some things that challenge your way of thinking. If only as an exercise in knowing what else is out there. I have no illusions that anybody will agree with everything they read in the paper, let alone everything that I say or any of our columnists say. But I think it's important that people are able to talk about things. But ultimately, I really feel strongly, and I know a lot of our readers do too, that if we can't talk about things together, then we have no chance of really improving life for our community and for our children's community and our grandchildren's community. So let's talk about those things. If that means a few uncomfortable conversations, I'm confident enough that Canadian Jews are mature enough to have those conversations and to come out of them as better people. I am somewhat discouraged about conversations, however, when I read the Facebook page of Canadian Jewish News. I think some of the discourse that you see in the comments of our stories or in posts where we're asking people's opinions, a lot of the comments begin to very quickly veer into anger and rhetoric and often personal attacks and vitriol. And I would say this is one of the main challenges of media today, is in those comment sections. So many people don't read what people have to say at the end of the story, but I'll tell you that if you do, it really elicits a range of emotions. It's great when you see a comment from somebody who totally agrees with you, or has some added information to add to a conversation, but that's always tempered by people who are telling you that you're wasting your time, that you don't know what you're talking about, that it's all lies, that it's fake news. And I really see social media as a major emerging problem that is touching the Jewish community in profound ways. It's easy to see for a certain generation on Facebook, or you read about the newspapers, which report often about social media disasters and messes. But I think it actually goes a lot deeper than even what we see. There is a generation of people that are incredibly angry, and it involves Jews too. This is not a certain segment of the population that we're not part of. It involves young people who are frustrated and have been gifted an outlet to express all that frustration. Newspapers are meant to help us communicate with each other, to help us talk and to be informed. And that's not really about left wing or right wing or being in the center. That's just about the facts. And that's just about learning and education and helping pass on traditions. And I think that if some non-Jewish press looked at what we're doing on those aspects, they might actually, in a way, benefit